Right, let's dive straight into this explainer. Today, we're completely rethinking how our bodies process pain. You know, if you've always thought of pain as just a simple, straightforward alarm bell, like you hurt yourself and instantly it rings in your brain, well, you're in for a pretty fascinating shift in perspective. We're going to look closely at the actual hidden mechanics behind human discomfort and, more importantly, relief.
Let's kick things off with a really simple, everyday question. Why does rubbing a stubbed toe actually make it feel better? Seriously, it's a completely universal human instinct, right? You bump your elbow, you grab it. You stub your toe, you immediately reach down and massage it. But as we're going to see, this isn't just some made-up psychological comfort thing. There is a concrete, literally physical, neurological reason why the simple act of rubbing actually works.
So, to solve that little mystery, we'll be exploring the mechanics of the gate control theory across 5 key areas. Welcome to the gate, signals that open the gate, how to close the gate, the brain's top-down control, and finally, the bottom line on pain. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Welcome to the gate, the biological checkpoint.
What we're looking at here is the famous gate control theory model, which was established by researchers Melzack and Wall. It's essentially a biological schematic for human suffering and relief. These guys completely revolutionized our understanding of physical discomfort. They proposed that pain isn't just an uninterrupted straight line from your injured tissue up to your brain. Instead, there's this highly dynamic system right in the middle that regulates the whole shebang.
The first thing we really have to understand is that the gate isn't actually located in the injured tissue itself. So when you stub your toe, the gate is not in your toe. It's actually a checkpoint located in the dorsal horn of your spinal cord. You can think of this specific area as the ultimate bouncer for your central nervous system. It literally controls exactly how much of that pain signal makes it through the spinal cord and travels all the way up to your conscious awareness in your brain.
So the crucial point here is incredibly simple, but man, is it powerful. An open gate means more pain gets through to your brain, while a closed gate means less pain. Your entire experience of pain is totally dependent on the status of this one very specific spinal checkpoint.
Moving on to Section 2. Signals that open the gate, the pain messengers.
Okay, so there are 2 main types of nerve fibers that push pain signals up to your brain. First, you've got your A delta fibers, which carry that fast, sharp shock. Then you have your C fibers, which carry that slow, dull ache. When you get hurt, the A delta fibers act kind of like a high-speed broadband connection. They deliver that instant sharp ouch right away. Meanwhile, the C fibers, they're more like dial-up internet. They deliver that throbbing, dull ache that just lingers for hours, maybe even days. But hey, regardless of their speed, both of these fibers have the exact same goal. They are actively pushing signals up the spinal cord, trying to force that gate open so your brain registers the trauma.
Which brings us to Section 3. How to close the gate, the sensory heroes. Here's the good news. Your body actually has dedicated, fast-track nerve fibers. They're called AB fibers, and they exclusively handle non-painful sensations. We're talking things like touch, pressure, vibration, and general movement. Whenever you stimulate these specific inputs, they race up to that exact same checkpoint in your spinal cord, and they actively compete with the pain signals. Basically, these guys are your ultimate gate closers.
So pain is literally an ongoing competition between these opening and closing forces. On one side of the ring, you have your gate openers, the trauma, the injury, those A delta and C fibers just demanding attention. On the flip side, you have your gate closers, the AB fibers carrying that nice touch and pressure. They meet right there in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord, and they just battle it out. Honestly, whichever side provides more input essentially dictates how much pain your brain actually feels.
And this step-by-step sequence perfectly answers that question we asked at the very beginning. Rubbing your toe works because the touch and pressure literally override the pain and close the gate. Think about it. In step 1, you rub the toe, which sends massive amounts of touch and pressure signals up your leg. In step 2, because those AB fibers are physically thicker and faster, they literally race ahead and override the slower pain signals at the checkpoint. And then by step 3, this dominant, non-painful input forces the gate to partially close. That means fewer pain signals make it to your brain, and your pain actually physically decreases. You are mechanically blocking the pain. How cool is that?
All right, let's look at Section 4. The brain's top-down control, the ultimate overseer.
Now, we can't forget about the brain itself, because your mind has incredible power over this entire process. Your brain isn't just some passive receiver sitting up there in your skull waiting for signals. Nope, it actively sends instructions back down the spinal cord. If you're experiencing fear or stress or you perceive a high threat level, your brain sends signals down that literally fling the gate wide open, amplifying everything.
On the other hand, if you're calm, confident, or even just distracted by something else, your brain sends signals downward that physically help shut the gate, which dampens the pain. Negative states open it, calm states close it.
Which leads us to our final part, Section 5, the bottom line on pain, clinical truths to remember.
Knowing that movement is medicine and sensory input is an actual treatment, that completely changes how we manage discomfort, right? Because we now know that fast input from touch beats slow pain signals, we can actively use sensory input as a legitimate treatment. It's not just a comforting placebo. This totally proves why physical therapy and just staying active really work. Movement stimulates those gate-closing AB fibers. And crucially, it's a huge reminder that managing our fear and stress isn't just some feel-good advice. It's literally a physiological requirement for reducing pain.
I'm going to leave you with this powerful bottom line to kind of fundamentally shift how you view your own body. Pain is a dynamic competition, and you have the power to influence it. It's not just a direct, unavoidable result of tissue injury. It's a real-time, ongoing tug-of-war happening right now in your spinal cord. So the next time you experience physical discomfort, I want you to ask yourself a pretty provocative question. Are you letting fear and stillness pull your gate wide open, or are you actively giving your body the physical movement and mental calm it needs to slam it shut?